Thank you, Amnapa, and thank you everyone in the audience for joining us today. Over the next few minutes, I will be sharing tips and talk about our recommendations to help you improve the effectiveness of compensation related communication with your sales team. But before I get into that, let me quickly introduce Optimize. Optimize is a leader in the sales operations space. Our expertise lies in various aspects of sales operations like compensation plan design, compensation plan rollout and administration, goal setting and management, territory optimization and territory design, sales performance management, and dispute workflows, to name a few. This is backed by about 25 years of proven success in business process design and management. All of this sits on top of our award winning platform of cloud applications that acts as a technology basis of the solution that we provide to our clients. We work with a number of Fortune 500 clients and have a diverse client portfolio spanning across industries and geographies. We help our clients with the efficient and successful implementation of their sales strategy. We have helped our clients achieve a level of process agility within their sales operations function that helps them keep pace with the ongoing changes which are a reality of modern day business. Our solutions have helped our clients achieve an increase in sales performance and also improve the level and quality of the visibility that our clients have into the performance of the sales organization. Now, before I get on with our specific recommendations to help you increase the effectiveness of a sales compensation communication, let's quickly talk about the importance of effective communication of a sales plan in the first place. I think that you will all agree on the importance of plan design. You want to design a plan that closely aligns with your sales strategy and drives the right sales behaviors. Our experience has shown that along with plan design, communication is also a key step in the process. We think that along with a good sales compensation plan, communication is important simply because we've seen a 26% improvement in sales performance for clients that have a structured sales compensation communication plan versus the ones that do not use a structured plan. So, taking the steps in clarifying the details on your compensation plan does add value in terms of improved sales performance. One of the reasons for this is that effective communication of the plan ensures that the reps spend the majority of their time doing their primary job, which is selling. I think that most of you on the call would be aware of the problem where the sales rep ends up spending as much as 60% of their time on non sales activities. When members of your sales force don't understand their comp plan, they end up spending a lot of time on activities like shadow accounting after they get paid, validating their own payments using some of their own data sources, or simply spend time disputing the incentives communicated by you rather than talking to the customers for getting in more business. And finally, a well communicated plan helps in increasing the engagement levels of the salespeople. In a recent survey involving salespeople, we found out that sales reps who reported themselves as highly engaged within the organization were twice as likely to report that they have a clear understanding of their goals and assignments versus the ones that were not as engaged. So, to summarize, if you ensure an effective communication of your compensation plan at the start of the new year or at the time of a major compensation plan change, you're more likely to have a engaged, more productive, and a happy sales force as they will spend the majority of their time focusing on their primary job as selling as opposed to the non-sales activities caused due to a lack of understanding of the comp plan. So, the first key step in the communication process is to ensure that you provide sufficient background about your plan. Don't just focus on the plan mechanics and the calculations. Also, share details that help your sales force understand why the plan is as it stands at that point in time. Help them understand how the plan is in line with your overall corporate strategy, and how their actions will help achieve this company's goal. All of us need the context to understand why we are doing something. And this is an opportunity for you to provide that context and help increase the engagement levels of your sales force. In addition to clearly explaining why your plan is the way it is, you should explain how you finalize the details of the plan. We spoke about the importance of plan design a few minutes ago, and plan design typically involves a long, thoughtful process. You may have involved stakeholders from across departments, from sales, strategy, finance, even HR. You may have done some sort of modeling. You may have brought in experts from outside the organization to help design the ideal plan. You may have considered best practices. You may have done this and a lot more to finalize upon a great plan that you feel aligns with your overall strategy and achieve the set goals. Share these details with your sales force. I would go as far as saying that brag about this process to help your sales force understand the amount of time and effort you have spent in finalizing the plan mechanics. You want to avoid a situation where your plan design is perceived to be this mysterious black box, or even worse, that it's considered to be arbitrary. By sharing this information, you will develop a sense of legitimacy around your plan design process and also help them believe that the plan would actually lead to a lot of success in sales. Along with being sure that you explain why the plan is what it is and how you got there, before you even get to that point of rolling out the plan to the sales force, you can take steps along the way to make sure that you have built some buy in during the plan design process itself. As I mentioned some time ago, you want to bring in thought leaders from different departments in your organization, and you want to make sure that you don't leave out sales in that process. Bring in leaders from the sales to the table and understand their perspective on how things work on the ground. Account for their expertise, understand what they feel works or what does not work in the comp plan, and use it to define the future state of the comp plan. As you roll out the revised plan, let them know that you have heard them and accounted for their valuable inputs. And this should not just be for the top level of the sales leadership, but for people across the sales leadership as well. You need to understand that your frontline sales managers are going to play a key role in ensuring an ongoing level of understanding and ensuring acceptance amongst the ranks of your new sales reps. You can't you can help the frontline managers and really set them up for success by including them along the way. Get them excited about the new plan, address their questions or concerns, and basically convert them into champions of the sales plan within your sales organization. These people will then be able to help maintain a high level of enthusiasm and engagement amongst the reps throughout the course of the plan year. They will also help drive acceptance of the plan. Run focus groups at various levels of management. Get feedback from various levels of the sales organization. Hear out their thoughts on compensation and look for things that they point out are needed for the future. You may get some feedback this way from the people that are most impacted by the plan. But most importantly, you will develop a level of trust, a level of buy in, and along the way, show your sales force that you care for their thoughts and are committed in making them successful too. Let's talk a little bit more about engagement. You may have heard me say it more than a few times during the last 10 months. We've seen that a high level of engagement results from a high level of understanding of the new plan and the goals that you have defined for your sales force, and also how that feeds into more focus and of selling and improves performance. So, it's really important that you do everything that you can as an organization to maintain high levels of engagement throughout the plan year. We recommend that you don't rely on a single channel to engage your sales force. Don't just rely on creating plan documents and use them for your rollout. Account for the fact that different people think differently. They take in information differently. We all learn differently. Account for this in your strategy. Adopt a multi pronged approach, something that helps you increase the number of contact points between your compensation plan and your sales organization. This can include the plan documents, which are a must as a reference point for the field during your plan year. In addition to this, organize one on one reviews between people who are a part of the plan design process and sales leaders, between sales leaders and sales managers, and finally, also between your sales managers and the reps. These more personal reviews can really enforce a level of understanding and belief in your comp plan in a much more effective way as compared to a simple plan document. You can organize tutorials in a small group setting to highlight the changes of the plan. Organize Q&A sessions after the field has had a chance to review the revised plan details. This will give them a forum to escalate questions and get direct answers from the very people who are responsible for designing the plan. Communicating in this multi-channel sort of a way is definitely an investment, but it's totally worth that investment, as we have seen that the more you can do to reach out to your sales force and help them understand the new plan, you will see a higher level of engagement and a higher level of performance in the new plan year. So you've come a long way now. You've rolled out your plan, explained why the plan is the way it is, you've explained how you got there, you have got the buy in from the people amongst the sales organization. Hopefully, you've got some champions too. But along with rolling out communications, you want to provide actual tools to the sales force as well. This will help them interact with the plan, which in turn will ensure that they get a better understanding of the plan and also add to the motivational value of the plan. We recommend that you find a way to provide tools to the field that lets them model real life compensation scenarios under the new plan. Let them execute what is sales scenarios and see how those scenarios translate into actual compensation as per the new plan. Get them excited about what they can achieve under the new plan. In the past, these tools looked like Excel templates, things distributed via email or even maintained in some central repository. But with today's advancement in technology, we recommend that you look for ways to provide these tools right alongside other types of reporting related to compensation. Whatever platform the rep uses to get information about their compensation, perhaps even perform their CRM functions, provide what if tools right alongside that. This is because the idea here is that you want to help the reps and not add to their overhead. Hence, provide them easy access to tools that can help them model compensation under the new plan. Finally, I would like to point out that although the initial communication at the time of rolling out the plan is important, providing them tools to model under the new plan is important, but it is equally important to note that this initial communication is just the start of the process of rolling out the new plan. You will have the best success in keeping that level of understanding high within your sales organization if you establish a framework that helps you check and reaffirm the understanding along the way. For example, you can administer surveys throughout the plan year, perhaps till the first payout cycle, to check understanding among different aspects of the plan. Have these surveys focus more on the areas where the plan may have changed the most. Use the results of these surveys to feed into follow up communications isolated on the aspects of the plan change that the field is having trouble in understanding. As part of rolling out a new plan, hopefully you also develop an ongoing rhythm for plan assessment. This is where you should be checking the overall effectiveness of the new plan and driving the behaviors that you wanted to at the outset. For example, you may have changed your plan expecting your sales force to focus on a high margin product or a particular territory. As you assess the plan, see if the changes that you hoped for are actually taking place or not. Feed the results of these assessments in subsequent communications as well. You may also want to invest in a medium that delivers ongoing coaching and real time feedback to the field. You could create a hotline or establish and communicate an alternative standard escalation path for the field to use in getting better understanding of the plan. You must be thinking that this is a big investment, and I agree with you. But again, just as we discussed the importance of plan design, communication is a key step too. And it's not just limited to communication that's a part of the initial rollout, but stretches across the plan year to ensure that you maintain the level of understanding that is established at the outset. You don't want the field to worry about mechanics of their compensation and simply focus on their job of selling. And if you can achieve this both at the outset as well as during the plan year, then you will definitely see an increased level of performance from your sales force. Okay, now for the questions. And by the way, any questions that I'm not able to get to, feel free to reach out to me via email or on my LinkedIn profile. The first question talks about trouble rolling out the plan communication on time. The question reads, at our organization, we have trouble rolling out the planned communications on time. Do you have any recommendations on how to get these planned communications out earlier? Now, this is a problem that we see quite often. And it has a big impact as it essentially means that your field is working without any direction at the start of the plan year, and this could have a negative impact on their overall performance. I think that there are two key aspects to the problem. One is the first one is the plan design process itself. Plan design typically involves a lot of people from across departments like HR, finance, sales, etc. Given the number of people from different functions, it is very important for you to establish a common goal and have the entire group work cohesively towards that goal. In my experience, appointing a sponsor or a group of people, some sort of a committee with decision making powers, helps in ensuring that the process keeps moving forward instead of it getting derailed. Having some sort of a structure to the plan design process helps in streamlining it and helps speed up the finalization of the plan changes. The other commonly seen problem, and this is especially for goal based plans, is the delay in getting the corporate level goals. Sometimes this stretches well into the plan year, and that's something that may be out of your hands, but you can definitely control the processes that translate the top level of corporate goal into individual goals. So I would suggest that if you are having trouble communicating the plan changes on time, take a look at your processes that precede the communication process and see if there are manual steps you may want to consider automating them and standardizing them. The next question is about a survey and how we should go about designing them. The question goes, you speak about using responses from surveys in designing subsequent communications to the field. What are the factors that I need to keep in mind while designing these surveys? Let me start by saying that you should definitely include questions about the plan changes that were the most difficult to work out or finalize. The changes that are complex to model and finalize are typically the ones that most of your sales force will have trouble understanding. So definitely include questions about those in your surveys. Your plan assessments should also help you identify plan metrics where the performance is not where you had expected it to be. Reps not understanding the metric in question could be one of the factors causing the mismatch between expectations and reality. So that's something that could be followed up via a survey. Talk to your sales ops team and identify the most commonly asked questions. This could help you identify changes that most people are struggling to get in terms with, and that could be a part of a survey to get additional details. Finally, look at the type of disputes that you're getting. If you see a lot of people entering similar disputes, it may be worth digging into the root cause of the problem, and the survey could be used to collect some additional details. We have some time for one final question, and the question reads, How do you handle scenarios where some salespeople won't accept the revised plans, or if we are having trouble in getting people to read the new plans? People are often not comfortable with change, and hence there can be some resistance to plan changes. You may recall a recommendation about trying to get buy in early on in the process. This will help avoid a deadlock in the end. People tend to react better to changes if it is a gradual process and they are a part of the process as against it being thrust upon them. I've also seen what if calculators play a crucial role in improving acceptance as it helps the reps to model out future payments based on the revised plans. I would encourage the use of such tools as a way to address the concerns from the reps. With regards to your question about getting people to review the plans, you can always look at technology options to help you out. For example, in the optimized platform, you can make it mandatory for the rep to accept their plan in order to see their compensation results. This typically is a good enough motivation to make people read through the details and hopefully also accept the plans. That's all the time that we have for questions right now. Feel free to drop me a line or reach out to me on my LinkedIn page if you have questions or feedback about today's webinar. My LinkedIn profile details and email ID are on the screen, and you can use the same to reach out to me after this session. I also invite you to visit the Optimize blog, where we keep sharing insights from my colleagues in professional services. With this, I hope that the information that I have shared today was useful. I'd like to thank you for your time and hope you have a nice day ahead.